Hi, I'm Pauline.
Hey, I'm Priscilla.
I'm Pal.
And I'm Tamiron.
And welcome to the P3T podcast.
Yeah.
I
feel like if they could just see our faces.
To provide context, if we're going to include this in the episode, to provide context, it's currently 10:51, so pretty much 11 p.m. And we are recording our podcast. We're still recording our episode. So, we put a lot of
Bear with us. This might not be your favorite episode. It's okay.
Energy.
Yeah.
Actually, it will. Period. As you should, girl.
Yeah, and some of us have slept for like 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day. So, we're trying our best.
And you guys, this episode will be fire.
We'll be lit. Alright. I just yawned, but alright. So today we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome. And for those of you who don't know what imposter syndrome is, I'm going to read a definition. And basically, imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. It's not like a medical condition or anything like that. It's just a term that I guess is accepted these days. It's basically self-doubt, but nowadays we feel the need to name everything and give everything a title.
Like the name self-doubt is not.
It's not enough. Yeah. It needs to be some disease.
Yeah. You can actually check if it's in the input in this thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, so as Pal is confirming that for us, I just wanted to start off the conversation by asking, have you guys ever felt, or do you guys feel like the path you've taken in life, and I don't just mean like education-wise, like just in general, is not the right path for you? And you constantly feel like the decisions that you've made that have led you to this path, like have all been wrong, or have some of them been wrong?
Sorry, please say that again. It's not in the book. You're right, it's an actual thing.
It's not like a recognized medical condition. Yeah, so basically the question is, have you ever felt like the path you're taking... Okay, let me break it because it's a very long question. So, question number 1, have you guys ever felt like the path you're in right now, not just education-wise, is not the right path for you? And why have you felt like that? Yes, Priscilla?
I think I've ever felt like that, especially when things were not going my way. So I feel like usually when you've put your mind to something, okay, like now for me, when I put my mind to something and I want to do something, let's say, be it any hobby, and then I end up being like number last in it, or don't do as well as I expect to do, then I'm like, I start having doubts of myself, like, is this what I really should be doing, or is this not just cut out for me? Am I in the wrong path? And then I get into this whole thing of questioning my motives and questioning myself and questioning my purpose. So I've been there.
Cameron?
I think I've also been there. Okay. But it's not like I feel like I've gone wrong in the past. I'm scared. I think the uncertainties of the future are what make me feel, okay, what if I took the wrong path when I did this? Like, I don't feel the choices I've made up to now, like, are wrong or have led me astray. I'm just scared that, like, in the future, I'm scared of the uncertainties of the future. So, like, I'm scared that I'll get somewhere and I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have done this. I should have done this instead. Yeah.
Pal?
So pretty much my whole life, I felt like one decision was made for me, and then, like, I was not supposed to be there. So I'm 1 year older than the class. Like, in high school and primary, I've always been 1 year older than my class. You get? So I've always been one of the oldest in the form or the stream or whatever that I've always been in. And it was all because in kindergarten, the principal was like, so we were supposed to go. Me and my sister, we enrolled, like, term 3 nursery. And our mom is a teacher, so she had already done everything at home. Like, she taught us to read, write, everything, all that jazz. So she wanted us to just enroll in nursery for one term, to just be like, okay, you get, just for us to know children. But it's not, we already knew each other, so it wasn't that bad. It's not like we had no interaction skills with other human beings, because we had each other. So yeah, so anyway, so she said no, like, in a logical sense, it's dumb to put fresh kids in nursery in third term and then send them off to pre-unit and you haven't even assessed them. So yeah, that's why I ended up being a class behind. So my whole life I felt like I've always been behind. Why was I behind? All of that. I've always had like that feeling of being behind. But I don't know, my life wouldn't have worked out the way it's worked out if I wasn't a year behind. You know, I wouldn't have gone to the high school that we went to, because our high school was new when
We were the
we were the first group. So I wouldn't have been part of that first group. I wouldn't have met you guys, wouldn't have started P3T. You know, there's so many things that wouldn't have happened if we weren't held a year back. So yeah, my whole life I felt like a decision was made and it held me back. But then when I got to high school, I was like, no, all things work for good.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I think also for me, there's always that feeling of self-doubt, but mine comes when, so like me, my life, I've always been, like, I've never been the smartest in class or the dumbest in class. I'm always just kati. But not kati like the center. Kati
the top,
middle upper.
Middle upper, exactly. So, like, I can't say I've ever failed in life. And if I'm being honest, especially in like primary, academics is not something that has generally come hard to me. Like, I've never had to transnite to like read for an exam.
Must be nice.
Yeah, until I reached university. Before university, things were doable. Huku difficult. Mentioned difficult. But yeah, basically, like, I've never really struggled with academics, and so because of that, I've never put any real skill into trying to learn. Like, I've never gone out of my way to revise. I've never gone out of my way to like read for myself. So because of that, I was also never taught how to study. Like, I've never learned how to read. Like, even in high school, sometimes I feel like I just used to open books because everyone around me was opening books. Like, if you ask me what I was reading, do I know? Could I tell you? But so because of that, nowadays, when things and concepts don't come easy to me, because, like, as I said, university kunja ni tough, I start to second guess my skill. So I've had to really stop and be like, no, go read. No, you're not stupid. Just go read. It's not that this course is impossible for you. Just open a book, Pauline. You'll be fine. You won't die.
You just don't know. It's not that you're dumb.
You're not dumb. You're not, like, this is not an impossible to understand concept. You just need to practice a bit more. You know, so I think that's something that I've especially this first year. Because first year, people always tell you, okay, or for me personally, our lecturers told us, if you fail first year, drop the unit. I mean, drop the course. Because why are you failing first year? If you fail first year, what will you do in fourth year? What will you do in third year? So, yeah, our lecturers might not be the most, uplifting people. But I mean, they do their job.
They're candid.
Yeah.
At least they tell you.
Yeah.
As it is.
Yeah, so I feel like for me, that's where the whole imposter syndrome has come from. It's always come from a need to put minimum effort but achieve maximum results. Yeah. And every time I do that, or every time, like, I've had to stop and be like, okay, just open a book and read. I don't like to say this, but I feel just a little bit dumb. I'm just like, I'm supposed to just hear and know what is going on. But ni hali ya life. So the next thing I wanted us to talk about is, so just on talking about like path and like future plans, Tamiron also like mentioned about the future uncertainty, which I think is something a lot of people struggle with, just not knowing what the future has in store for you.
Yeah.
So it's not even a question. I just wanted us to talk about this because I need to talk about this with someone. You know how people are like, I had God's word. clear as day, and he told me this is the path I'm taking in life. Miss Jaiskia. And it's probably because I'm just young in faith, and like, when did I start praying chokwelo? Maybe like from 4. Like if the other praying was praying because you are taught how to pray, and praying is something we do in our household. Yeah, it was never like chokwelo. So it's probably just something that comes with time, but it's very frustrating when you can see other people with clear paths, like them, their path is clear, and yours, you can't even see how tomorrow will look like. You don't even know if you'll do these exams and you'll make it through. So I guess my question is, do you guys ever feel like, because you can't hear that direct voice from God telling you, this is what I want you to do, my daughter, do you ever feel like you're constantly doing the wrong thing, and you're just going to circle, and then life will end, and that will be the end of you? Yes, but
so I wanted to mention about the thing about like God, hearing God talking to you. I think I've had God talking to me, and it's not God punished me. He made me sick. So for real, I think he made me sick. So tell me where do this again. Do this again, I'll punish you. Anyway, so it was like I had gotten sick, and I was like, God, why am I sick again? Because I was sick. I've been sick every semester, but this was specifically for this last semester. It was at a bad time. I think I mentioned it like a couple of episodes ago. The way I got sick after midterm. After
episodes coming.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I got sick after one of my exams, some of my exams, yeah. So I remember after I got back onto reading my Bible. A thought just popped into my head. It was like, maybe God punished me the sickness because of what I had done. And then I was like, yeah, that was God talking to me. Because then I've never done it again, and then I've not fallen sick. Like the other day, I had a sore throat coming in, and then it just went. Because I hadn't done what I did before. So I was like, oh, okay. That was actually God's voice, because God healed my sore throat. It didn't develop into anything else. So what God's voice might sound like is your own thoughts. That's what I was driving towards, because it sounded like my own thoughts, but it sounded wise.
Okay.
You get?
Yeah. So, I think then for me that's where the disconnect is. Because me, I want to hear a man in my head. That's what I want to hear.
It will be your own voice. It will be like, it's like you're talking to yourself. It's going to be like a thought, but then it's going to be like, that's such a wise thought.
That's not
really not even, because me for some time I sat down like, was that a thought or was that actually God talking to me? Then when I got that sore throat, and then it left, I was like, okay, yeah, that was God talking to me and telling me that was me. It's me who told you. So if you ever get a thought and you think, that's wise, or
I never thought of
that's God. Before. That's God. Yeah, that's what I realized. So what was the question?
Do you ever feel like, okay, so now I guess the question becomes redundant, because my question was, okay, I have had such thoughts for sure, but they're never about my future. They're always about what is happening now. I want to be told you're going to be rich. I promised you're going to be rich, but I know that's not how these things work. I know, it's just difficult. So I guess the question was, because you don't personally, because I don't hear that voice, that direct path, I'm always so scared to make any decision, and I constantly think every decision I'm making is not the right decision. So do you guys also struggle with that?
Yeah, like not hearing God's voice about my life. Yeah, guy, okay, I'm in between like several 55 facets of psychology. So like when you're doing psychology, you don't have to just do, like, you don't have to be a counselor or be a lecturer. You can do other things, But now I don't know, like, the amount of careers I have panned out are so many. The amount of internships I want to go and look for, like places that I can intern at, places that I can do job shadowing at, there are so many, and I can't pinpoint anything. So at this point, I'm just riding the wave. And my plan is just to graduate with a good grade and I move on. Whatever comes, just doing extracurriculars, God will bring it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually, okay, sometimes I feel confused or conflicted because you know the way some people can hear God through their voice, I mean through the voice in their mind. It's like sometimes I get so conflicted. Is that my head telling me?
Yeah.
Or is that really God telling me? Or is it second guessing myself?
Sometimes I feel like if you have to ask,
Yeah.
si wewe, ni ile shetani ama Mungu.
The devil can't get into your thoughts. I don't know who told me that. I can't verify.
Yeah, I
Pastor's
probably on
been fine.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I probably saw it on TikTok somewhere. Let me not lie to you.
So like I guess okay. Okay. Sometimes I feel like most of the times in my life I've seen God talk to me, or I don't. Okay, I've never second guessed myself, but I've always gotten like a direct answer later on, and most times it's usually like from people I know, or something I see on my phone, or something in relation to what I am querying on. So like maybe it'll be a video I'll find on TikTok or Instagram, or my mom telling me something that's in relation to it, or my friend calling me and is like, oh, what about this, and it's in relation to what I'm querying about. So I feel like in a way there's always going to be clarification if God wants you to get something or to get a hint. And even if it takes 500 signs for you to realize it, those 500 signs will come through unless you're really blind to see it.
Or you choose
Or
not
you
to,
choose
because
not
we
to
always
see
have
it.
free will.
Yeah. So I think in a way that you can't be blindsided, but at the same time it takes someone who's familiar to God's voice to know God's voice. Like I know Tammy Ron's voice because I know Tammy Ron. Yeah.
You make a very good point.
Yeah, so if you don't know God, maybe by even studying His Word or praying or trying to harness that kind of, cultivate that kind of culture for growing in your faith, then I doubt you'll be able to hear God's voice.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Very true. Because I only started hearing his voice after I started reading my Bible again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, as someone said, I think you've already given the example. The way you will only know Tamiron's voice because you know Tamiron, and you can't know God if you don't spend time with God.
Exactly.
Kwa nini mimi sikukujia majibu, mimi nilikujia kurant? Kwa nini mnanipea majibu? Staki. Nataka kucomplain.
Yes, God does speak, and He's spoken to me, but just like Pauline, it's never been, I want you to do this, my daughter.
That's what I want to hear, though.
You hear the deep voice of God.
And then it's also not just, it's never about my future. It's always about what I'm experiencing now. So if I'm feeling pain, God is there to comfort me. If I'm feeling uncertain, He's there to be the voice of quiet, you know. But it's never like, God, I'm confused, show me what to do. Then He's like, okay, take this path. It like He always does it in a lot of the times through other people, through other things that are beside me. So I remember, when I was joining uni, I remember I was supposed to join uni like last year, July. And I remember I had convinced myself in my head that God took, because I had to have like some sort of course advisor or someone to just be my guide, you know, as I decide what I wanted to do, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So in my mind, I decided that God said I will do business, like BCom, blah blah blah. And then just then, like right before I do my interview to get into that school I wanted to get into, another opportunity comes up and I have to leave the country. So I was away for like 5 months. Then I came back and I was like, okay, time to do my business. And then my mom is like, but are you sure you want to do business? I was like, nini na wewe. The decision was made. I'm doing business. And then she was like, imagine me, I'm not feeling it for you. I feel like you have so much more potential. And honestly, at the back of my head, I think I've given this story, maybe. I knew, like, I wanted more of a challenge. Like, I'm sure business is a challenge. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure the course is hard. I'm sure everything that revolves around it is not easy. But I just felt like it wasn't my type of challenge. So there was something always gnawing at me at the back of my head. But you know how you just choose to ignore, like, no, if not this, then what?
Yeah.
So I remember when I came back, my mom was like, okay, maybe you should explore IT. Because I did that in high school. So I was like, now you. The thing is, when I was in Form 2, I remember doing a bit of IT and part of it ilinilemea vibaya. So I was like, you know what? I'm never going to do anything to do with IT. I'm not going to do computer science. I'm not going to do these things because zilinilemea.
Did Form 4 to scare you?
No, it was actually not Form 4. It was the coding we did in Form 2. I was just like, I'm going to do IT and a lot of it will revolve around coding and I'm not ready for that. So my mom took me back and she was like, why don't you try it? And I was like, okay. She actually has a point because I genuinely loved the technicality of it, but I guess I didn't like how it was taught, so I didn't understand. Anyway, long story short, God was able to speak to me through my mom. Because after I made the decision to do what I'm doing now, I've never felt more certain about anything. Like, it's the one decision I made, and I'm glad God had to take me away and bring me back to help me see that, yeah, what you had planned to do maybe wasn't meant for you, but this is probably what's meant for you.
Okay. So I wanted us to talk about this hearing God's voice because someone told me something very interesting. They felt like the reason they felt quote-unquote imposter syndrome, self-doubt, is because they weren't affirmed in what they were doing. So every hiccup they felt, they came across, they were like, oh my God, I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe this is God trying to tell me I'm on the wrong path. So every single hurdle or every single difficult thing, because people, I don't know why people, okay, not people, but me personally, I was told if God has told you to do it, it will just go shwe. But nothing in life is shwe. Like everything has its own challenges. I just realized people can't see me doing this, so you don't know what I'm talking about. Like it's easy. But like nothing in life is easy. So I remember when I was talking to this person and they told me about how their self-doubt comes from not being affirmed. How are ways do you guys think you affirm yourselves? Because we can't constantly be looking for affirmation from other people in your self-doubt. Paul?
How do I affirm myself?
Yeah, like when you start feeling imposter syndrome, self-doubt, whatever you want to call it.
I just have to power through it. I'm just like, you've got this. Let me tell you, I feel imposter syndrome in such, like, I doubt myself in even the smallest things, like tossing a road. If I get anxiety to kidogo too. I have to start. What I do is I fake it till I make it. So even now with the example for crossing the road, I'm like, no, pal, you're brave, you've got this, yeah. And so I'm not talking about like a small road, like a road on the like service lanes of Casper Highway, where they filter out to. So those are the ones that I get anxiety, a little bit of anxiety. But sasa itabidi umevuka barabara. Itabidi tunafanya chenye tunafanya. So I have a lot of like fake confidence, and then it rubs off onto myself to feel like real confidence. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I do. I just fake it till I make it. I just affirm myself. I'm just like, okay, we are doing it and you can do it. Because there's no other way that you're not going to do this. Yeah. Thank you for calling me. I was going to sleep.
Tamiron.
There's the fake it till you make it. And there's also Kai, what else? If not
If not this, what else?
So yeah.
For me, it's the same thing as Pal, faking it till you make it. Because one thing I've realized is you have to tell yourself what you want to be to become what you want to be. So you have to sing it to yourself so that you can believe it, so that you can practice it, so that you can be it. Yeah. So you have to, if you want to wake up early, say, I'm an early riser, I'm an early riser. Soon you'll become that early riser that you want to be. So, yeah, it's a matter of like, is I think a verse in the Bible, I'm not sure if it's a verse, but a saying where people say, what you speak is what you possess. So the fact that the power of the tongue, I mean, what's the power of the tongue? Your tongue is like a two-edged sword, and double-edged sword, and also that it has the power to give life and to destroy. Exactly, give life to what you want life in. So if you want life in yourself, give yourself life in positivity, in speaking life into yourself, so that you can become that life and positivity you want to see.
You talked about becoming, or like calling yourself that thing that you want to become, so like an early riser. And I was reminded of this book. It's called, I think it's called Atomic Habits.
So many people have read that book.
It's a good book. If so many people have read it, it's a good book. And basically one of the points the author makes, I think his name is James Clear, I'm not sure, please fact check me. But yeah, he says that you're more likely to develop or build a habit if you take on that identity. Because human beings, generally human nature, it clings to anything that gives you an identity. So you are a daughter, you are a mother, you are a doctor, you are a lawyer. Like anything that gives you identity, human beings tend to cling on it very, 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 very tightly. Yeah. So, that was just an interesting point. So I think the thing that I wanted us truly to discuss today is this, my last point, which is, so we've all talked about fake it till you make it, and maybe a short episode.
It's okay. 30 minutes.
So we've talked about fake it till you make it, and if not this, what else? So this brings me to my final point. Do we do these things? Are we faking it till we make it because we believe ourselves, or the end goal? So let me give an example of myself. I'm an economics student. So my end goal in school is to get an economics degree. So when I fake it till I make it, am I doing it so that I get that economics degree, or am I doing it because getting that economics degree is my only option?
I think now in the specific case of getting an economics degree, either way it doesn't hurt. Either way you still get the degree, and that's what you need at the end of the day. Like, you could be doing economics lakini uende ufanye business kama Tamiron. You go you start your own business which is totally unrelated to, you could be in such a restaurant and it picks up, So true. Yeah, I think in some cases, like, it genuinely depends. Sometimes faking it till you make it is appropriate, sometimes it's not. So just assess your situation and figure your way out.
I also feel like the faking it till you make it is like a means or way for us to, manifest. Somewhat like manifest what we want. So like,
I don't understand.
For instance, a good, like now for your example, you want that economics degree for a purpose that is known to you.
No.
You don't want it.
No, I want it, but I don't know the purpose.
I don't know the purpose. Oh, that's not the
That's where the big question mark is.
Okay. So I think then, in the journey, in my honest opinion, I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe the choice of even you sitting for that economics course and doing it to its completion, there's a reason behind it. And sometimes it's blurry at the start and even blurry during the process, but towards the end there's going to be like an opening for you now to see what you really need to see and need to do after now you've reached that certain bridge. You know that people say I'll cross the bridge when I get there. Exactly. So I feel like in a way I don't think I don't like living life in regret, nor do I like living life in like this was a mistake. I don't think there's anything like a mistake or a regret. I think it's a learning experience.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Someone actually told me something with relation to that if you live your life in regret, then you are ignoring God's plan in your life. You're basically saying, God womeniacha ni float. Ujani. Like I've reached here by my own strength, which is not true, at least for those of us who believe. So yeah, interesting thoughts. Tamiron?
Oh my goodness, what do I think? Okay, and it's here. Yes, yeah. You fake it till you make it, because honestly, you don't know what lies ahead. I used to be those people who would imagine that they've planned everything from like point A to point Z. But I've realized, honestly, God just comes and it's like, you know what? You plan nothing, nothing. So at the moment, I'm just kind of living my life. It's odd to say this because I feel so, and I feel so. I sound so aimless in life, but to be honest, I don't have an objective in life at the moment.
It's okay.
I feel,
That's fine.
I feel like my only objective maybe just to get my degree. However, I'm working towards like opening as many doors as I can for myself. So trying as many things as possible that may lead to an opening here or there or the other place. So yeah, you just fake it till you make it. It's hoping that you're doing the right thing and that it will lead to something at the end.
True. Good thoughts all around. Have I finished? No, I'm not yet. I'm just last thing. So we've talked about faking it till we make it. We've talked about like not hearing God's or hearing God's word and not hearing God's word, both of them. And my last thing is, now with all of these things, do you think your self-doubt ever leads you to feeling unsatisfied or stems from dissatisfaction?
Your self-doubt?
Ever, like either it causes you to feel unsatisfied, or do you think it stems from dissatisfaction with which level you are in life? Because can I go? I think a lot of times I think we are taught, especially because social media and all this, we're taught to celebrate big moments in life. So like when your life is not, for example, if you're not graduating or if you're not getting married, those are just examples that come in my mind because that's what I want. So like if you're not doing these things, then like you're not you shouldn't be happy or you shouldn't be content. But I think something that I've been learning, and it's truly been helping with that self-doubt, is learning that even if I graduate, like I won't get purpose when I graduate. I won't get purpose when I achieve I already have purpose at this very moment. Even without a goal, without a plan, I have purpose. I'm not on this earth for vibes and inshallah. Like, so do you guys ever feel like you're waiting for this big thing to happen and then purpose comes? So you're waiting for this big thing to happen and then your self-doubt ends.
I think for the longest time, yes. I always thought that there will be this one event that will come to my life and I'll just be like, yes, Eureka, here it is. But then the more I move through life, I realize that it's through the little validation I get here and there that I realize, oh, okay, I was supposed to do this. Oh, okay, it makes sense that I've done this. And like I'm I'm not sure what my purpose looks like, but I feel like by doing this, I'm moving closer to what it might be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like that. I really like that.
I feel like purpose evolves as time goes by. Like, I don't think purpose is constant. Like, your purpose changes as you evolve or as you continue progressing in your life. So, as mankind, the way in business we say human wants are never satisfied. I think that's the same thing with purpose. Purpose is never satisfied. Or your purpose in life can never be satisfied. Like, you can never be, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it keeps on evolving in terms of, yes, you get this purpose, or let's say, for instance, in school. What's my purpose in school? Let's say getting that degree.
Kupita.
Yeah, I'm a kupita. Then you get that degree and then you pass. Then your purpose will change. Okay, I get a job. What's my purpose in this job? Are you here only to make the money, or to also pander that chair, you get more money, or to impart lives? You see, your purpose changes. One day, if someone is ready for family and starting up family and all that, then your purpose will change. Maybe you become a mom, maybe you become a wife, maybe, a purpose changes, or your role changes, or certain things change in your life. And I feel like as life progresses, your purpose continues evolving, or even becoming bigger and even greater as you continue becoming old. So I don't know. I don't think there's like that special moment where everything in life has been like revealed to you, where purpose is like, that golden buzzer or that bulb that lights up. It's not like that. I feel like it's a journey, it's a process, just like life. You continue learning more about it as you progress.
So I stop waiting for that dream that will come and tell me this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. I hear you. So I guess, that's all we had for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's probably going to be a pretty short episode. We are quite exhausted today. But we move regardless. You can catch us on...
Guys, it's the commitment for me. Commitment.
Correct. Find us on... You can follow us on Instagram at P3T Podcast. KE? No KE. Just at P3T Podcast. Send us an email at... I don't know.
p3tpodcastke@gmail.com.
And you can feel free to comment on our reels. Please comment on our reels and tell us they look cute. Even if you have to lie, just lie. No, don't lie. Lying is bad, but just lie.
What do you mean by reels or snippets? Or the reels that are going to...
Yes, the snippets. We Pearl puts a lot of effort into them, and Tamiron. What else? You can find us on all platforms apart from Apple Music. Maybe that should be our theme song.
Platforms.
All podcast platforms apart from Apple Music. I'm starting to think that should be our theme song. Apple Music, Apple Podcast. Yo, kama uko na iPhone, you need to use on Spotify. Basically is what
an iPhone, get a laptop. Na computer, atenda kwa cyber. Use Spotify.
But is that it? Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful day.
A wonderful night.
Afternoon, whatever the rest of your time after this podcast is. I pray it is wonderful.
Okay, bye.
Bye.